Okay, let's unpack this. There's this idea, right, that every bite you take isn't just fuel for your body. It's like you're casting a vote for the kind of mind you're actually building. So this deep dive, it's all about a really powerful piece called Eat Clean, Think Ruthless. And wow, it makes some incredibly bold claims, confrontational even. It basically argues that what you eat, it's not just nutrition. The source calls it a form of identity that directly impacts, well, your mental sharpness, your decision making. So our mission today, just to be clear, isn't about endorsing this view. It's really about impartially unpacking it. We want to understand the core arguments, explore how clean eating is presented as a path to what the source calls, pretty provocatively, a weaponized mind. We'll be digging into what it really means, according to this source, to choose between fuel or fog for your brain.
Yeah, and a really striking point it makes right at the start is that diet isn't just about how you look, not about physical appearance. Instead, it frames your food choices as like a direct enabler of cold, ruthless decisions and a way to get mental sharpness. Especially, it points out, when others around you are, and this is their language, foggy, bloated, and brain fried off sugar and seed oils. I think the key insight here is how it elevates diet. It's not just a health thing. It becomes a core part of your mental strategy.
That's a really powerful way the source frames it, not just health, but a pathway to a weaponized mind.
Okay.
It really hammers home this idea that if your diet is clean, your mind literally becomes a tool, like for superior performance. But how does it make that feel tangible? It's kind of abstract. What specific shifts does it actually promise?
Well, it promises a pretty concrete transformation, actually. The text suggests you'll wake up clearer, think faster, respond smarter. It implies you move away from just sort of reacting to things and towards strategically calculating your responses. It paints this picture of like ultimate mental agility, and it all stems directly from what's on your plate. It's about getting to a state where your mind is just operating with precision, with speed, giving you a real advantage.
And it doesn't just paint the ideal picture, does it? It sets up this really, really sharp contrast to drive the point home. It uses some strong language, almost caricatured maybe, to describe the alternative. How does the source illustrate the pitfalls, the diet of what it calls the average man?
Oh, it definitely doesn't hold back, not at all. It describes the average man as someone who eats like a clown and then, quote, wonders why his life's a circus. It's harsh. This person is shown, like, chugging soda, hitting snooze, scrolling TikTok with crumbs on his chest. The author's blunt. You can't even dominate breakfast, let alone your future.
Yeah.
And okay, well, it uses this very specific, masculine framing. The core idea seems to be about the consequences of just mindless consumption.
Yeah.
For anyone's productivity, their self-control, starting right from the morning.
Yeah, it's a really stark critique, not just of diet, but like you said, a whole lifestyle, a lack of discipline, and then boom, it pivots completely to the opposite. The man on warrior fuel, and this isn't just vague, eat healthy stuff. The source gets specific: lean proteins, high fats, clean carbs, and crucially, discipline, plus lots of water.
Right.
It doesn't really get into the biochemistry deep dive or anything, but the implication is clear: sustained energy, avoiding those crashes that fog up your thinking. Basically treating your body like a high-performance machine. And the result it promises: his brain is online before most people wake up. He's not foggy. He's described as lethal, locked in. It's about cultivating this total, relentless mental state.
And there's this one unique perspective the source offers, connecting this strict diet to something that seems almost, well, paradoxical. It says, there's power in being boring at the table because it means you're dangerous everywhere else. Which implies that by kind of removing the distraction and maybe the emotional side of food, you free up mental bandwidth, energy, to apply to other areas of your life where you actually want to excel, more significant things. Your focus isn't on, fancy meals as entertainment, but on strategic living. But, host, how might someone listening, someone who genuinely loves food, finds real joy in it, reconcile this? It seems so restrictive.
That's a great question because, yeah, it feels really counterintuitive, doesn't it? We live in a world that's kind of obsessed with food as pleasure, as entertainment. But the source, it's pretty unyielding on this. It really boils the choice down to a simple binary. Your food is either fuel or fog. Pick one. It presents every single meal as a strategic decision, not for enjoyment, not for indulgence. It explicitly rejects cupcakes for clarity, making it crystal clear that in this philosophy, the trade-off is absolutely worth it. It demands a whole different value system around what food is for.
And that really brings up a big question about priorities, doesn't it? It's arguing that food, within this specific mindset, is purely a tool, period. It's all about optimizing performance, not chasing that fleeting satisfaction from, say, a dessert. If we connect that to the bigger picture, it suggests that every action, even something as basic as eating, should align with a larger goal: discipline, effectiveness. And while this stark choice fuel or fog is definitely designed for impact, it does make you wonder, is there any room for balance
Hmm.
or indulgence? Or does this philosophy truly demand such an all or nothing commitment?
Okay, now this is where the source takes a really provocative turn, a sharp one, because this isn't just about health anymore, or even just mental clarity. It shifts to a mindset of domination.
Yeah.
The source ends with this powerful, almost aggressive statement because while others chase dopamine, you chase domination, and that's how killers are built.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay. It ties diet not just to thinking clearly, but to achieving this relentless winning mentality. Now, it's important we clarify here, right? This probably isn't about literal aggression. It seems more about a ruthless self discipline, an extreme focus on getting a competitive edge in whatever you do. Expert, how does the source even justify jumping from diet to such a high stakes, almost aggressive goal like domination?
Well, it seems to suggest that the self-control you demonstrate in one area, like your diet, that it's directly transferable. It carries over to other parts of your life. So the discipline you forge at the table by making those boring but strategic choices again and again, it builds this mental fortitude, this toughness that you can then apply to any challenge. This, the source argues, is what leads to that concept of domination, which in this context seems to mean radical self-mastery. Achieving your absolute peak personal output, it's making a very direct link. Micro choices like what's for lunch leading to macro outcomes, like overall success. What are your initial thoughts on framing it so aggressively? Especially that killers are built line. It's pretty jarring.
It definitely pushes the envelope, way beyond typical self-help advice. My initial thought, it feels like the author is using hyperbole deliberately to cut through all the noise out there, to make a point that really sticks, maybe even shocks you into paying attention, into possibly taking action. It's probably less about literal violence and more a metaphor for extreme focus. Competitive drive, like you said. It implies that if you can master something as fundamental as daily as your diet with that level of strictness, that same ruthless approach, that same intensity can be applied to dominating your goals, your future. So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening right now? How do these really extreme claims resonate? Or maybe they challenge your current approach to diet, to mental performance. Are you right now treating your meals mostly as fuel for clarity? Or perhaps are they sometimes contributing to the fog the source warns about?
So just to recap the core message from Eat Clean, Think Ruthless, it's drawing this incredibly powerful direct line between your dietary choices and your mental acuity, your discipline, and ultimately a path towards what the source calls domination.
Hmm.
And again, that domination seems framed not as power over other people, but as intense self-mastery, reaching your peak personal output.
Right. So as you maybe think about your next meal, consider it not just as, sustenance, but maybe, just maybe, as a deliberate strategic act. Is it building mental clarity? Is it building discipline? Or is it contributing even a little to that mental fog? Something to chew on, maybe. Think about that closing mantra from the source. Eat clean, win dirty,